always kind of a luxury returning to a film, a sequel, a trilogy. You're coming. It feels like I don't know. It feels familiar. It feels comfortable. I had such a good experience. Well, I've always had such a good experience working with Denis, so I always look forward to it instead of getting my typical jitters because I'm nervous about everything I do. Everything, even like auditions, I still, I've been doing this for years, but I still get nervous and have anxiety about it. But it's just more comforting, kind of picking up where you left off. And that's how it felt. I felt like I was picking up where I left off. Urbana in part one, he kind of he's given full go ahead, full authority to kind of run things the way he sees fit, which are not good. If you know anything about him, he's just a brute and he's a psychopath. He's a murderer, and that's how he rules. He rules with anger and fear, and so that's where we left off with him, just getting the go ahead, the green light to run things his way, and we pick up with his way not going very well. I think he underestimates everything he's up against, and brute power with not a lot of brains behind it. It's not going to get you very far. But I think that's how you pick up seeing him and seeing Raban kind of fall to pieces because of it. I think all of his insecurities are kind of shining through in part two, and you really see the nature of him, that he's a bully and he's a coward, and but that's how he gets by on his intimidation and fear and anger, and it's just not working out for him. I love Stellan. I love Stellan. Stellan, he's a man after my own heart because he's such a good actor and he's so respected, and I have him on such a pedestal. But he never takes himself too seriously, and I kind of learned that. I learned that a little bit while we were filming, and then I saw him at a Golden Globes party, and he really embraced me, and I was shocked because I just admire him so much. He's one of those persons that one of those people that I can't believe that I have his respect, but I know he does. He's told me he really respects me, and he loved my performance in the first film, so it's a bit surreal to me. But I really learned on our press tour when we were headed into the Venice Film Festival how just lighthearted and how funny he is, what a sense of humor. And his sense of humor, sometimes would be a little bit raunchy, which just makes me feel like more at ease with him because, again, he's just so accomplished and I have so much respect for him. But the fact that he is so grounded and so kind and so funny, it just makes me feel completely comfortable with him. And so I know we're going to go. This goes back to I don't have to go to set with all these accomplished actors and feel intimidation. I don't feel like pressure because they're all such lovely people. I feel just completely comfortable, and I know I can perform and do my thing and not have to worry about being judged. Well, for one, he's just brilliant. I mean, I just love this kid. So his performance, and I've been watching his performance, and it's kind of this is such a luxury of being a part of a film like this because you get to step back and you get to watch really brilliant actors like do their thing, and this is what I love about it because for me it's an education. Like this is how I learn. I'm an on the job learning actor, so when I get to watch other actors like perform and just through little subtleties. Become so interesting to the camera. It's really it's amazing to me. I get to watch it. I got a front seat, for this front row seat. But Austin he's just a very interesting actor, and he's just embraced this character. And I've only seen him in a couple other things, and they're so different from what he's doing now. And that's when you really kind of realize how talented people are. But the thing I love about Austin the most is, again, he's. I don't know, and I hope he never realizes, but I don't think he realizes what a star he is now. His trajectory is it's off the charts. And you know that this kid is going to be something like, he's going to be on top of the world in a year or two, especially. I said to Timothy Chalamet before the first film came out, I asked him if he was ready for this because he had achieved a certain amount of success but I was like, this film is going to turn you into a massive star. And I think I can pat myself on the back and say that I was right. But I think, it's not like, everybody knew it. I mean, everybody knew he was headed there. I just wonder, I'm always curious of how it will affect people, especially people so young. So again, I think with Austin, you look at him and you see this kid. He's such a shining star. And he's so brilliant, so talented, and you wonder how he'll be affected because you know that he's getting ready to be one of the biggest stars in the world. And I think he's already there. He's scratching the surface, but I think this film is going to be, it's going to put him on a different level. I mean, you love people and you appreciate their talent, but then when you get to know people and see that they don't take that for granted, or they don't hold it over anybody's head. They don't, their noses aren't in the air. They're just grounded. And they're just like good, just normal people. Then you appreciate them even more. And I think, I don't know how it happened, but there seems to be a cast full of those people here.
That's very good.
Yeah. I think with any job, especially when you're performing, if you're close to the people that you're working with, it's just going to be an easier experience and it's going to be no pressure. I also think that, that's kind of the way you build chemistry with people. That's the way you connect, when you're just comfortable with people. Because if you're clashing, there's never any chemistry. But I think if you have a good energy, especially if you have like a love for the people that you're working with, there is just a connection there that it translates onto film. And I think that's, this is why I always, when I say that people are so down to earth and you feel comfortable with them, it's not an understatement. Like it just helps in your performance, because you don't have to be self-conscious. And actors, no matter what they tell you, they're the most self-conscious people on the face of the earth. And me, like, it's tenfold. I can't even bring myself to watch playbacks because I will harp on them and I will just pick out one thing that I do wrong, and it will just ruin my day because I can't think of anything else. And I'll feel like, this person next to me, they saw it, they know it, they think I'm a terrible actor. And it just eats me up, but it's just my nature. But with everybody I'm working with, I just don't have to feel that. And this, I'm just speaking personally. I don't know how everybody else would process this, but for me to be comfortable with the people that I'm working with is everything. So I don't feel like there's a competition. I feel like people are bringing the best out of each other, instead of competing with each other. And that's what it feels like with all these strong actors. And I think the reason I love working with Denny is because he is the most hands-on with me director that I've ever worked with. He's so, for one, every direction I get from Denny is very intimate. It's always like a one-on-one conversation. He's not yelling something from behind the camera. He always comes up and we have a conversation about what he wants, and a lot of times about why he wants it. And so that's what I love, is because he picks up on like just the smallest little details, things that I never would have thought of. And it's a look here, it's the look there, it's the way I'm walking, even like in different situations, different scenes, the way I'm walking, because it translates into affects things I've had on you, like throughout this film. And he wants me to feel a certain way. If I'm feeling this way, I should display it this way. And I love, and this is what's challenging for me, because as a performer, I want to get these directions and then I want to see if I can do it. Acting is like a puzzle for me, and it's this puzzle I'm trying to put together. And he gives me pieces of the puzzle and I put them together. And again, when I feel like, when he's happy, I know I've accomplished something. I feel like he's making me a better actor. And I think it's because, again, it's all those little subtleties and the intimate conversations we have. And there's really something special about that for me. And I think you'd have to understand like how I got into this business, where I started, and to be here now. Even my part in Blade Runner, I had to really win Denny's opinion, or win his favor for that, because originally he didn't want me for the role. He thought I was all wrong for the role. And it took some doing to get him to approve me for that role. And again, that felt like an accomplishment. If I can, prove myself with a director like Denis Villeneuve, then that says something. That says something to me of how far I've come. And so now being here, and just again, he really trusts in me and he believes in me as an actor. And he's told me, like in the first film, he told me because I was self-conscious and he wanted me not to be. And he said, "You're a very strong actor." And it just, like, for him to say something like that to me, just, it means everything to me. This is why I'm in this. Like this, I love acting. Like I'm obsessed with acting. I have been since the first time I tried it, and I failed miserably. I was just horrible. And this is why I wanted to become a better actor. And so now, from going to there, where I was sitting in my first scene in my first film, and being mortified at how bad I was, to now being on this, the sequel to Dune, and working so up close and personal with a director like Denis Villeneuve, it's just it says to me how far I've come. I always want to go back to the hardcore fans first, because they are people who have been passionate about these novels for years and years and years and grew up and reading them, as Denis is and was and is. But I want them to be happy. I want them to feel satisfied that we brought these characters off the page and brought them to life for them to see the story instead of just reading the story. So I think that would be first and foremost is, I would want the hardcore fans to really just be happy. And I think, the first film has created a whole new generation of fans who maybe didn't grow up with the novels, never read the novels, because the film was so well done, so beautiful and so intriguing. So I hope that they feel fulfilled again with this sequel. And I don't know if the universe is going to continue. I'd imagine there will, because there's so many stories to tell. But I really just want them to feel like I felt about Star Wars. When I first saw Star Wars, I don't know, it just opened up something new for me, and it just inspired me. And I want them to feel that way about these films, is to kind of be inspired and be so captivated and blown away by this universe that Denis created. And I hope that these movies will live on forever, and they're 30 years down the road, like I am still watching Star Wars, still a fan, still talking about it, that people will in the same way be talking about these films and still watching them.